Okay, and it's the Amazon Cars Weekly News once more. My apologies, I'm by myself this afternoon, so hence you've got video without me in it, but I'm commentating, which is a good or a bad thing, don't know. Okay, so David's 544 B18 arrived, didn't quite arrive earlier this week. It broke down about 5 miles away, and David tells me he reckons it's ignition switch. So we're uprating the ignition switch and replacing the coil. Noticed on the list was also replacing the kingpins. So that's always quite an involved task. Yep, new kingpins, and a few other things besides as well. But this is a regular visitor to our workshop. Arrives usually once a year, so always an enjoyable to work on David's Pee-wee. The Amazon is still on the ramps. I think we found why the brakes were grabbing on the left. It's not obvious, and indeed the MOT didn't pick it up, but on the right hand side here, this darker half is actually because if you wipe underneath the dust is wet brake fluid. So it's ever so slightly weeping from the right hand side. So we're just waiting for the caliper to arrive. And we also had fitted new harsh shafts and the threads aren't quite right. So I'm just waiting for my M20 by 1.5 tap and die to arrive, which should be today really. And then I'll clean up by recutting the nut and half shaft threads. So that's that and that. What else is going on? Richard's Stag, engine running gorgeously now. So new brakes, that is, that you knew about last week. Then I replaced his fuel tank, and yesterday was the first time we ran it up, and it ran perfectly. Well, I say perfectly, you still need about 5 mil of choke for it to run cleanly, it seems, even when it's hot, which is mildly worrying, and we'll have to work on why that is. So I took it out and ran it around sort of 7 miles, trying to free off that clutch, and still the clutch is jammed on. So we've got some more work to do on that. Gareth's car, I just need to do a quick inspection underneath, and then we'll load it onto the trailer and down to Cirencester for the Cotswolds rally. So back out with Gareth again, and hand back his car and his trailer together. The 850, a couple of sort of interested inquiries, but nobody's actually turned up to look at it, which is kind of surprising because it's such a gorgeous car. However, so what is it we wanted? I think we want £1,500 for that. Okay, marching back up the workshop. The other big event of our Amazon Cars lifetime is that we're thinning out our stock. And so, if we wander outside, we see Lee Smith's skip and rapidly filling up. So what have we got here? Well, those are Amazon fuel tanks. I'm always amazed by how immaculate Amazon fuel tanks are inside at this age. They are still shiny inside unless somebody's managed to put some rubbish into it or water has got in. But almost all of our used fuel tanks have perfect interiors. I'm going to keep 3 or 4, you never know, somebody might want one, but they are perfectly usable. Then there's a load of 164 silencers have gone in the skip there, massively heavy silencers these, and we haven't shifted one in over 10 years. Some Amazon discs on hub, and oh look there, that is the compressor for an air conditioning unit in, I think that was a P1800E or an ES actually. So that's that. Anything else? Oh yes, this, which is really rubbish. These are the centre tie rods on the 140 that you can't get anymore, and are replaced by the opposite thread. So in other words, the tie rod end here becomes male and the centre tie rod becomes female, as opposed to these ones. So I've thrown all of those out, and a host of calipers. I've kept a handful. I've kept half a dozen of every one of our calipers in stock, just in case we want to rebuild them. So we've got one pair of vented ATEs, and some later type three-pot Girlings, the four-pot Girlings, four-pot ATE, two-pot Girling, two-pot ATE, so we have a decent selection. It's just the early calipers I've given up with, and we threw all the early three pots away. So there we go, that's it. Yeah, so late type three pots, vented front ATEs, normal ATEs, and the two pots at the back, four-pot Girlings and two-pot Girlings. There we go. So we are making a start on clearing our racks. It's a very difficult task. I don't like doing this, but since nobody's going to buy our business or our used stock, it's got to go in the skip. It's sad, but I will try and be judicious and not get rid of anything that is clearly going to be useful, invaluable to somebody. Well, there we go. That's our weekly news. Oh, Emma wanted me to show you our prizes from the East Anglian. Let's see how we do this. Here we go. We can have Deke as the backdrop behind it. It's all right, Deke, you can stay there. So there we go. Emma and I prizes. That I think was the highest placed, highest placed Chelmsford Motor Club crew, and this one was the first in class. Yes, first in class for the Cat 1s for the Cat 1 cars. So there we go, a bit of glassware from 2 weekends ago, and you can see Deke is massively impressed. So there we go. We'll talk to you next week when we get back from the Cotswold, and hopefully we'll have the Amazon off the ramps by then, and the Peewee will be progressing rapidly towards its finish point. Excellent. All right, thank you very much.